Just rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. You got my eye. It's in the sky. Shh. Hello, my name is Ryan. I live in Cambodia and I make videos sharing what it's like to live in this beautiful country with you. We'll call you the viewer. And henceforth, I will be referred to as the man. The woman, my significant other Sara, she and I spent our Christmas break at Siem Reap and Angkor Wat. We spent about 4 days touring around the temples. It was incredible. I'm going to go ahead right now and say that it's the best time to visit Angkor Wat, possibly ever. Well, I don't know about ever, but this video isn't about the temples. I'm not going to give you any history, any of that boring stuff that we all pretend to listen to, but when we're being told it, we're secretly thinking about foods we'd like to eat. No, this is a guide to visiting the temples, what you need to know, tips on how to visit them, how many days do you need, what time of day to go, hair tips, how to maximize your temple experience with the hair that you have. I'll tell you where the best boob statues are, all that and more starting now.
Y'all don't know people like this. Y'all don't know people like this. Y'all don't know people like this. Y'all don't know people like this.
Okay, let's talk logistics. This is my logistics. I'm figuring out logistics when I do this. How exactly does the park work? First of all, Angkor Wat is one temple of the complex. It's the biggest and most iconic temple, the one you see on the money, on the flag, on this shirt right here. I think that's supposed to be Angkor. Maybe that's a flag. No, that's got to be an Angkor. It's a stain here. But the entire complex of temples is often referred to as the Temples of Angkor, the Angkor Complex, the Angkor Archeological Park. I think that's the official name. So just Angkor. So you buy a pass and it gives you access to all of them. And there are a lot. Wikipedia says 72 major ones. Lonely Planet has information for 61 of them. Over 4 days, I think we saw about 25 of them. So it's a lot of temples, maybe too much for you. It's up to you, your body, your choice on how many temples you get to see or you want to see. Also, your body is your temple. So I guess your temple, you're taking your temple to go to see the temples and you're going into the temples with your temple is going into. It's a crazy wild world out there. There are 3 options for passes. 1 day for $62. No, 3 days? No. I have to read this. 1 day for $37, 3 days for $62, and the 7-day for $72. That's an extra 4 days for just $10 more. Great deal. Nudge, nudge. We got a 3-day pass, and because of COVID times, they're extending the passes 2 extra days, so we're getting 5 days, 2 days for free. We were originally going to get the 7-day pass because we wanted 5 days, so this worked out really well for us. That's an even better deal. They just recently announced that this COVID special will continue for all of 2022. So it's an extra day for a 1-day pass, an extra 2 days for a 3-day pass, and an extra 3 days for a 7-day pass. All right, that's right. The 3-day pass is valid for 10 days. 7-day pass is valid for a month. I don't know how to indicate that with my hands. So you don't have to use all the days in a row. It's nice. You can go to the temples 1 day, spend the next day just like discussing the temples, I don't know, and then you go to the temples again the next day. To buy the pass, you have to go to the ticket center, which is about 7 kilometers away from Angkor. It's a pain in the ass, but I guess when things were busier, it made sense. Right now, it's just going out of your way to visit a big empty building. You can't buy your pass anywhere else though. They actually take your photo and put it on the ticket, so you need to be there. You cannot send your manservant. Now there are some rules you need to know before you show up in your juicy booty shorts. 1, respect the monks. This means no selfies with them, no spitting on them, no kicking them. 2, do not litter. This should not need to be said. Don't ever litter. If you litter, you're a piece of shit. 3, please respect all signs. You're not going to find any long-haired freaky people need not apply signs. All the signs that are up are there for a reason. Obey them. 4, smoking. It's gross. Don't do it. Quit. Cancer. Don't do it, especially in Angkor. 5, don't give money or candy to children. If it's your own children, I think it's okay. 6, please do not touch.
Can't touch this.
7, wear respectful clothing. Shoulders, knees should be covered. No tanks, bro. No bikinis, girl. No t-shirts that state how good you are at oral sex. I think the rest are pretty obvious. No looting or damaging stuff. No exposing your sexual organs. Wait, what? That's dumb. How are we supposed to meet new people? Figured 1 day of bicycling, 1 day on a moto, Oh, that's a good point. Let's talk modes of transportation to see the temples. The most obvious and the easiest is by hiring a tuk-tuk for the day. This will cost you about $20 for the day, and the driver will take care of everything. He'll have a route planned out for you. You can customize it if you want to, but if you don't, they will have a plan.
I got a goddamn plan!
To arrange one, you just walk down the street and see them reap, and then somebody yells tuk-tuk at you, and then you just go and talk to them and line it all up. They'll pick you up the next day, take you around all day. Usually they end it with a sunset over the temples and then drive you home. So it's a pretty long day, well worth the $20. Our first visit to the temples though, we decided to ride bicycles. The cost was $5 per bicycle per day. This is the route we took. We picked up the bikes at around 9 a.m. and we rode for about 7 hours. We saw about 7 temples and rode about 25 kilometers. So it was a pretty long day. So there's the bikes, tied them up to the tree there. Tied them up, we locked them up. The bike path is just over there. And look at this, this is beautiful. Wow. Let's show you guys a little bit of the riding that we're doing here. This is the road, which is fairly quiet. It's not too bad, but there is a bike path. This path it's actually a little bit bumpier than the road and curvier, so you're going probably a further distance overall, but you don't have any traffic. We've seen one other bicycle on this path the whole day. It's pretty fun to ride. So yeah, this is what we're dealing with. Good stuff. On another day, we rented a motorbike, which cost $15 a day.
This is a Zoomer X, Honda Zoomer X. Zoom, zoom.
We saw a lot of temples that day that most people don't usually make it out to. A little bit off the beaten path. Temples that are scattered outside of the main park area.
You can pop in, stop, and go, oh, there's the temple we're going to. It's a beautiful view from here. Let's pull over. Hey, look at, we got monkeys up in the trees here. I think she's talking to you. So this is a true off the beaten path one. We just came in on that road, and this temple is a good example of one that just hasn't really been restored at all. Some local kids hanging out. Hello. Hello. You got 9 ants on your feet?
But the next day we took the moto into the main park area and saw some of the more popular temples, just parking the bike along the way.
Quick note about parking. We always try to park near the guard tower. And of course they check your ticket there, make sure that you're legit. But on the way in, there's often these checkpoints, and if you're in a tuk-tuk, the tuk-tuk driver should stop. If you're driving on your own, then you got to stop at these checkpoints and they'll check off the day, like, okay, you're doing your first day or your second day or whatever. I don't know, just a little note for you guys. Leave me alone. Look at this tree, it's crazy. So another way to see Angkor, I guess, is to walk, but everything's so spread apart that you really can't walk and see everything you want. So we are walking on this day. We drove the bike up here, we parked it, and now we're walking in between, where do we start? Bayon, and we're headed to everything in the Bayon complex basically, which is a big area. But I mean, look at this, no one around. Feels like you're discovering something. Giant, beautiful trees. There's these little hiking trails in between each temple. Some of it is just gonna be walking on the road, but this one has kind of a back entrance. I think we're headed into that little hole in the wall to get to the next section. That's a cool tree.
Shout out to the nature that surrounds and has aged with Angkor. It's one of my favorite parts of the whole temple complex. Big, beautiful trees that have like grown in with the temples. The best place to see those is Ta Prohm.
Old lady Sara. She's in pain now. I'm just gonna limbo it. This tree is super cool. I have massive hands.
Wait, what was that? Ghosts? It's ghosts.
I love how the doorways all line up. You can see it goes all the way really far to the end. If you go this way, same thing. Huh. They had to cut that tree down. Looks like a dragon sitting on the side of it. There's our boy Buddha.
Shaboy!
Says it was vandalized in the 13th century. This would have been Buddha here and here.
Yeah, you can see the outline.
Yeah.
And this temple is actually built as a Buddhist temple. But most of the temples in Angkor Wat temple complex are originally Hindu temples. They were changed over to Buddhist. But at the time, it shifted. It shifted like in the middle of the whole thing. So some of them actually are Buddhist.
Whoa, whoa, Ryan, what the f was that? That sounded a lot like learning information, and he promised us no learnings. This next bit better contain some sort of bodily function joke.
Climb it. This is definitely a young person's tourist attraction. If you were old, you wouldn't be able to walk up these things. There's no way. I'm falling all over the place. Oh. Whew. It's not far, but it's steep. Look at that view though. Like the steps are crazy. You can see that's why old lady Sara's down there and young guy Ryan's way up here. But now young guy Ryan's looking at this and going, Jesus, I gotta walk down this? This is scary. You know, it's like literally you gotta turn your foot sideways in some steps so it fits. It's super steep. So I guess my point is, if you're thinking about coming to visit the temples, I would do it before you're at that golden age, the retirement age. Then you can, you know, do more.
That's not fair, because there's tons of retired people here. And you just put it around in a tuk-tuk. It's fine. You climb as much as you want.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying if you, okay, if you want to be able to climb to the top of this, you might need a little bit of youth on your side. It's not even the fact that it's hard, it's also one little slip up and Jesus, what do you come tumbling down those steps and you're in trouble.
Scare away gross old people. Check. Next up on the list, time of day.
Sun is high in the sky, it's almost noon and it's gotten hot. So I went from kind of cold earlier to pretty hot right now.
Time of day is something you're going to want to consider. The earlier it is, the cooler it is. If you get there at noon, sun is hot, it's above you, you can't hide from it. It's science, but it's also the time when everybody goes for lunch, so a lot of temples are more empty then, emptier. Of course, most of our templing was done with absolutely no crowds because of this thing called COVID-19. Maybe you've heard of it.
So I can tell you right now, we're the only ones on this temple. And this is actually one of the cooler temples in my opinion. Whoop, it's called this name that's on the screen. And it's the big, it is like, not a tourist in sight. There's a tourist. That's Sara, in case you didn't know. How many people do you see? I see one. Wait, no, I see two. Well, you can see Nobody. Now one girl who keeps following me around. Strolling around Angkor Wat, and it is quiet and empty here. Look at that. Nobody in sight other than Sarah and I. We have seen a couple groups, just a family and then another couple, I think, so far. Just so quiet. What's that beautiful? So quiet. Not a single tourist in sight again, except for her. She keeps following me around. We got some guys here. Hello, boys. Hello. Hello. This big courtyard here. 2 people, a couple people over there. Pretty much empty. Now let's put up a photo and see what it looks like normally. I'm not saying COVID's a good thing. I'm just saying that it is a good time to visit Angkor Wat.
The Angkor temples have seen an incredible drop in tourism. Our first day we saw about 7 temples and maybe about 7 tourists in total. It is nice sharing the temples with just some workers, maybe their kids, monkeys, maybe a chicken or a spider. But you really do have to feel bad for the people that make a living from the tourists of Angkor. This is the area pull up in here, and of course you get, I don't want to say harassed, but kind of harassed by people trying to sell stuff. It's insane how little business they're getting compared to what they used to, so we're gonna probably try to buy something. I want to try to support whatever I can here. Not looking to do this the cheapest way possible like we did last time we were here back 10 years ago. Kind of more going for having a good time and supporting the people a little bit. How much do these t-shirts cost? Do you remember? We ended up buying a lot of t-shirts and other souvenirs that, well, that doesn't really have anything to do with Angkor, but you know, you kind of feel bad for the people, and they're about $3 each. So we bought t-shirts. I think Sarah bought a skirt. Oh yeah, and this beautiful, it's for drinking. There are some great souvenirs that you can find in the little shacks around the park, but also in Siem Reap itself. This place was making some beautiful leather murals.
So striking from the road, you see it and it looks like it's gold.
We also stopped for drinks pretty often in the park and ate meals in the park. Of course, the meal prices are more than you're going to spend outside the park, but you're in one of the biggest tourist attractions in the world. I don't think $6 for a plate of delicious food in one of the biggest tourist attractions in the world is that big of a deal, Gustav. But of course, you can find really delicious food at a cheaper price in Siem Reap, along with a ton of other great things to do. The question is how? How can you find out these things? Where do you go? It's pretty simple. You click that link, or maybe that link. I'm not really sure. Actually, that link, those links don't even, they're probably not even there. You're gonna wait 10 seconds, and then you're gonna see a picture, and it's gonna be like, Itchy Feet on the Cheap Christmas special. You wanna go to click on this. And then you're gonna click on that. And that is basically how you get on with your life. So that's it. That's all. Only 2 things left. Take care, comb your hair.
Prefer when I'm by myself. I don't wanna hang around y'all. Pray for good health. One day I'm really gon' ball. Fuck around and buy the whole mall. Breaking that cake. Flexing 700 in the bank. Not a superhero, I don't save. Look at my face. Look at my grades. Don't match up, no love. Look at date. I just fade. When I hit the jack, you can keep the pie. Every night I gamble, I stop. Yeah. When I check the cost, I was like, oh, that's expensive.